Hello, and welcome back to another Cuppa with Kaci. Today's an exciting video because I finally get to try out my birthday present. So, I've been wanting these for such a long time, and I finally got them. One of my bestest best friends ever, Gabby. Thank you, Gabby. I love you. Bought me these for my birthday and they arrived yesterday and I didn't have a chance to use them, and today I am, and I had to record it for you guys, so let's just get right into it. Struggle is real. The struggle is real. There we go. So as you can see, this is the 12 colour introductory watercolour set. They're cool and they're so good. Well, I've never actually tried them, but I've seen them and I've been wanting them for ages. And yeah, so on the back it has all the names of all the colours. This comes in this cute tin. So it's like bubbly, so I guess you can use it for a palette, and it's got this little, okay, so this must be all the colours you can get, and it's got a bunch of numbers and stuff, which I guess is the number of the colour or the pigment or something. I admittedly know almost nothing about watercolour pigments and things. I want to know more, so if you want to help, just feel free to link me things in the description below that could help me with that. So it's yellow ochre. I'm sure all these numbers on here mean something. Anyway, so I've got all these lovely colours and they're so cute and teeny tiny. And my friend Gabby also sent me this tiny little Mead & brand watercolour 12 colour palette, and it is, I've already put the half pans in because I got it early in the mail and was so excited, and I've been waiting for the paints for like so long just so I could fill it up. And it actually came with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 half pans, and there's only 12 colours, but I put them all in there just to stop them from rattling around because it really bugs me. So I may have to go and get 2 individual colour thingamabobs to fill this up with. So I'm going to get my art book out the way and we can get to putting some colours in these. So what we got here, oh, it's so pretty, I can't express my excitement. So I noticed when I was filling the palette here, a lot of the paints, but some of the paints had like a different consistency than the others. Like these first 3 were really nice and sort of runny, and then like this one I had trouble with getting into the palette in an even sort of splodge, and like, yeah, from here it's a little bit difficult to get them to look nice. But I just went round afterwards with a paintbrush and sort of just poked them into the corners so it looked pretty, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist like that, and I wanted it to look nice as well as be nice, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I had fun squeezing out all the colours into the little half pans, and so exciting. I love them. I have poured the palette. It's a little messy, but it still looks good. I'm excited. So I'm going to be swatching on this Aquarello watercolour Artistico traditional white 100% cotton watercolour paper, hot pressed, which I don't normally like because it's so smooth and I like my paper with texture, but every time I've used it so far it has still been absolutely lovely. So, and this is where the painting starts. So I did a swatch sheet first because you should always swatch your art supplies when you first get them so that you know what colours they are, how they feel when you use them and such. I think I said in my previous video how I'm usually really messy with swatches, so I was trying to be super careful with this to make it look nice because I wanted it to look really pretty. And I see so many people on YouTube who do swatch sheets and they just look so nice, and it makes me sad that mine are always so messy. So I was trying to be super careful with this, and I was using my cheap but nicest square flat brush that I have to do it, to try and make it at least even all the way down. I mean, they get a little bit wavy in places, but they're not too bad. And then I ruined it with this one. I had real trouble swatching this colour for some reason. I don't know why, but every time I've used this paint, it doesn't feel right. I don't know, maybe I need to mix it a bit in the half pan or something, but it just doesn't feel nice to use that colour. I think that's the yellow ochre, I don't actually know. I'm so smart. I have this palette and I don't know what the colours are called. I know there's a phthalo blue and a yellow ochre, and that's and there's Payne's grey. This one's Payne's grey, I know that. And it looked really light, so I tried to get it to darken up with the pigment, but it wouldn't, and I assumed that was just as dark as it was going to get, but I do use it later. Actually, I don't use it in this image, but I used it in a different painting that I did recently, and it does come out darker. I must have just not put enough on my brush. It's been so long since I've used actually wet watercolours instead of reactivated watercolours that I was finding it hard to get the right amount of pigment on the brush without overdoing it, if you know what I mean. So I didn't want to put too much on the brush and have it look horrible. But hey ho, I did make a new swatch sheet that fits nicely into the lid of the palette anyway, so it looks much better on there. And then we get into the art. Now the artwork is a couple of Animal Crossing New Horizons characters from my island, because, you know, everybody's been playing that lately. And I have loved Animal Crossing since New Leaf. I got it on my DS and I played so much of it that it was a little bit of an obsession. And when I found out there was going to be a new one for the Switch, I'm fairly sure that plus Pokemon Let's Go Eevee is what made me buy a Switch to begin with. And yeah, so I've been waiting since it was announced eagerly to play it, and I finally have it, and it's so exciting and I love it. And I have this is a pic of Nibbles and Anka, and Nibbles is, or was, one of my first villagers, one of the first 3 that you get when you build you don't build them, but you place the first 3 villager houses. She was one of the ones that showed up for that, and I love her. She's so cute, and I mean, at least I assume it's a girl because she wears this cute little watermelon dress, but Nibbles could be a boy, who knows. Yeah, I love her. She's great and she's super cute, and I make sure to talk to her every day, and if she ever leaves I'm going to cry. And I know the colours aren't quite accurate. I had a little bit of trouble mixing a nice green for Nibbles because she's not quite teal, but she's not like a bright lime green either, and I was trying to emulate that, but it came out a little more blue than I intended, but I don't mind it. I still think it's really cute, and I just kind of ran with it and made all the colours a little bit more blue than necessary so that it looked intentional almost. And then Anka, I didn't know she existed until I was just randomly googling Animal Crossing characters, and I saw her on the image search and I was like, oh my gosh, I need her in my village. And then like the next day she rocked up at my campsite and I was like, okay, I need you. You are moving in. And I thankfully had a space free and she moved in, and I was so happy, and I love her too, and I talk to her every day and she is never going to leave, and if she tries to leave I'm going to fight her because look, she's so cute. She's a little Egyptian cat. I mean, how can you not love that? It's adorable. Now, I really love these paints. Like, I'd seen people on YouTube use them, and I wanted them for ages, and I am not at all disappointed. Like, you know how you really want something, or you're really looking forward to something, and it's like doesn't live up to the hype? These lived up to the hype. I love them so much. They are so nice to use, and they just so pigmented. I don't have to put hardly any in the palette to give a nice colour, and it's they're gonna last me ages, and I love it. And coincidentally, I'm also doing Animal Crossing Villager commissions, so if you want to send me a message about that, I am doing those for $20 each. Hint, hint, hint. Australian dollars, by the way, not American. So it's a little bit cheaper for you American people, though, the exchange rate and all that. Yeah. Now, I wanted to, like I said, I made this a bit more blue overall with the image, so I tried not to use black lines at all. And I have an annoying fly buzzing around my desk, so every now and then you'll see this fly just buzz in front of the artwork. I was like, go away. But yeah, I didn't use any black lines, and I remembered to use coloured line art at the end, and I'm so happy about that. You know me, I always forget. So used to just doing black line art that I always forget to do coloured line art, but I remembered this time. And it's the best, yay! Now, you might see me every now and then reach across the picture to play with my phone there. I'm actually looking at reference images to make sure I'm colouring the characters correctly, because it was so hard to find an image of Anka in the dress that she's wearing in my village. I didn't even draw it right in the picture because I couldn't find a picture that worked, so I just went with one of the ones I found. I didn't want to do her in like the mummified wrappings, so I just went with the one dress that I could find an image of her wearing and used that one, and then went back on my village and realised there's a different one, and I'm really upset about that, but I'm still happy with how it came out because the colours all work together. And if I had done the one that she's wearing in my village, then there would have been a bit of red in there as well, and as nice as it looks on her in my game, I think if I'd put any red on the picture of her here, it might have detracted from the whole thing, because the colours, it would have just been one random bit of red and it would have looked odd, in my opinion. But I had so much fun. I cannot express this. Gabby, you are the best. Thank you so much. And Corbin, Gabby and Corbin, for buying me these paints for my birthday. They are amazing, and I have loved using them, so thank you so much. You are great. And I've also ordered some really quite fancy watercolour paintbrushes, and I'm very excited for those to arrive so I can test them out with my new colours. And I hope I like them, because they are, I think they're softer than brushes I'm usually used to. Like the brush I'm using here, it's not a hard brush, but it's got a bit of firmness to it, so you can get some pretty nice lines with it, as opposed to a soft brush. I think I would have a bit of difficulty getting even lines. And since I usually do my line art on my watercolour paintings with the paintbrush as opposed to using a liner and drawing the line art, I appreciate having that bit of a firmer brush to make the lines a bit more uniform throughout the picture. But these new brushes I've ordered, I think they're going to be quite soft, so that's going to be a learning curve. But they just looked so nice, and I just sort of bought them on a whim because, you know, isolation days, we all are just internet shopping because we can't window shop, right? That's how it's working. I mean, at least that's how it's working for me. You'd think I'd have money because I'm not leaving the house, but no, my money is gone because I've been just trawling through Amazon. But oh well, we won't talk about that. That's for another day. Now, with Anka's hair, I wanted to try and do like in the game, it's very, you know, flat to her head and sort of solid, almost like a big solid shape, and it's flat to her head and it doesn't stick out. But I wanted to give it my own flair and have like some loose strands and stuff, so I went through with my small brush and added some stray hairs every now and then, and I really like how it turned out. It was not exactly how I envisioned it, but I'm still happy with what it ended up doing. And this is me trying to make a dark green. I found it really hard. The blues that I have in this palette, I don't know if I'm just using the wrong one to mix or not, but they don't mix well with yellow to make lime green. So again, the green I ended up going with was a bit more blue than intended, which fit with the rest of the picture because the whole thing was a bit more blue than intended, but it wasn't what I was going for. I wanted that bright green on the edge of the watermelon dress there, but it didn't end up working. I was like, oh well. And I'm having some biscuits with my tea. I hope you guys are enjoying your tea, and get yourself some biscuits, because who doesn't love a bicky with their tea? I think I'm just having plain digestives with this one. Not that it matters. Who cares what biscuits I'm eating, but I love digestives, so yeah. I went a bit crazy with the biscuits there. I think I was hungry when I was doing this, but I didn't want to get up, because if you get up then you stop painting, and then you lose the flow, and you can't get back into it. And I think this has already taken me a couple days to get this far with, because I got these paints and I was so excited to use them, and then I did the video part of me doing the swatch sheet, and then I think it took me about a week to actually decide what I wanted to paint with them, because it was just such a big deal. I wanted to paint something really good with them, my new expensive paints, but I had no idea what I wanted to paint with them, so it took me about a week to actually come up with an idea of something I deemed worthy of my new paints, and I wouldn't use them until I had done this video. That was just, I couldn't do it. I had to have the first time I used them be for the camera, so you guys could all see my first impressions. And so it took me a long time to actually finish this video, because I wanted to share everything with you guys, and I just didn't know what to paint, and it was a big deal, and it was a lot, and I have my baby and my stepson, and there was just so much going on. I didn't have the time to sit down and actually think it through. And then Tiramisu on YouTube, check her out, I'll link it below, did a video of her drawing Animal Crossing characters with her Copic markers, and I was like, oh yes, I can do my Animal Crossing characters. And she did Anka as well, and that really inspired me to draw Anka. And I was like, well, I have to do Dimples too, because she's also my favourite. So and then I just sat down and I drew them, and it came out so well, and I was so excited, and yeah, I had to paint it. So thank you, Tiramisu, for giving me the inspiration of something to use my paints for. You are the best. Thank you. And you guys all best go check her out and subscribe and like her videos, because her artwork is so good. She does a lot of really good fan art too. Like, she went through a Naruto phase recently, and I haven't watched Naruto since I was like 14, but the artwork that she does of Naruto characters makes me want to watch it again, so that's something. And yeah, and she's just so bubbly, and her use of colour is really mesmerising. Like, I watch her paint or draw or pretty much do anything, and I'm just like, you're using those colours, and I wouldn't put them together, but when you put them together it looks good, and it makes me want to mess around with colours more. So yeah, just go check her out. She's awesome. Again, I'll link it below, so you have to go have a look, please. And you know, whilst you're here, you could like and subscribe to my videos too. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I tend not to ask every video, because I find it a little annoying when people do that, personally. When you come into a video and it's always like, yeah, like and subscribe, yay, and hit that bell so you get notification. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, but just this once, you know, like and subscribe. And you'll never hear from me about that again. So I had fun with this painting, and I had fun with these watercolours, and I would definitely recommend getting some if you have the funds. They are not cheap watercolours at all, but if you find yourself for the spare $15 to get yourself a tube, I'd even just give them a whack for a like one colour only challenge or something. They're really nice. And then we went with the line art. Now, like I said, I normally do watercolours for my line art on my watercolour paintings, but my fiance has a lovely collection of Prismacolor pencils, and I was like, you know what? I have seen people do mixed media with the Prismacolors and use them for line art and extra shading on watercolour and even Copic markers, and it always looks so good. And I've actually never tried it, so I figured since I'm trying some new watercolours, I will try a new technique as well and make it mixed media. So I went through his lovely large collection of Prismacolors to find the colours that I wanted to use, and I kept it sort of minimalist. I didn't want to outline every different colour with its own colour of line art. I wanted each one to sort of each of the pictures of Nibbles and then of Anchor to be mainly one colour in the line art, as opposed to every section of different colour had different coloured lines. I wanted it to all be uniform, so I went through and picked just a fair few colours and did each of them with that, and then I did a little bit of shading with the Prismacolor pencils as well, and I'm so happy with how it came out, and it's so exciting to me to actually finish a piece of artwork and like it this much. It's been such a long time since I've sat and stared at a finished piece of artwork for a while, just trying to find something I don't like about it and actually not finding anything I don't like about it. I was so happy with this piece, and I then straight away went and played some more Animal Crossing, because, I mean, how could I not? I just spent my whole day painting Animal Crossing characters. I needed to go play Animal Crossing, and in fact, I'm probably going to go play Animal Crossing after this as well. So, yeah, I hope you have enjoyed watching me paint these guys, and if you have any suggestions for villagers that you'd like to see me paint, or even if you want to commission me to paint you as a villager or one of your original characters as a villager, comment below and let me know, and I'll get in touch with you. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this as I did, and I hope you like the finished picture as much as I have, and I will see you all next week for another video, which is going to be a sketchbook tour, because I finished my sketchbook after this picture and I'm so excited to show you everything that I did. So next week's video will be a sketchbook tour, and I hope you're excited like I am to show you everything I have done. And then I just went through the end here, darkened up the eyes a little bit to give them pupils because I didn't like the solid colour. And then it's finished. I didn't even need a white gel pen. How crazy is that? I think that's like a once in a lifetime thing where you don't need a white gel pen at the end of a picture. But yeah, just give it a little bit of a signature and it's done, and I will see you next week. Have a great one. Bye.